So when talking about wearing personal protective equipment, there's a question of why should a shielded person make sure that they are not in the primary beam? The reason for this is even if your hand or other part of your body is in a lead glove, that glove is only going to shield your body from 25% of the primary beam. That means you're still getting 75% of the exposure from that primary beam. So even when you're fully protected, fully shielded, you still want to remain out of that primary beam to avoid radiation exposure, since it would only decrease the primary beam by 25%. So for different views, the machine would need different settings. Here on our machine, you can see how our setup is here, but we have a little chart to help kind of show based on the thickness of the animal what you are radiographing. So say we're radiographing a craniocaudal view of the radius ulna. Generally, they're going to be small, they're going to be not very wide, and so we have a chart here that shows if the area you are viewing is 1 to 10 centimeters wide at the widest point, you'd set the KVP to 80 and the MAS to 2.5. So for that craniocaudal view of the radius ulna, we would turn the machine on. Here we have the KVP setting. We would take it down to 80, and then generally on our machine here it's set up so it would automatically change the MAS to 2.5. So that would be for a craniocaudal radius ulna. For a VD thorax view, say it's a 50-pound dog and the widest point that you measure is 18 centimeters wide. You look on your chart here, you have centimeters. So you'd be in the 16 to 25 centimeter range. The KVP would be at 115. And then again, the MAS would stay at 2.5, but you could also change it up to 5. So coming over here to change our settings for a VD thorax with an animal at 18 centimeters, we'd raise the KV all the way up to 115. The MAS 2.5, but there again, it could be changed up to 5. Depending on the exposure that you are looking for. So that would be how we would change the settings, how we would obtain them by measuring, getting the widest point in centimeters, and adjusting our machine as necessary for a couple different views. So when we are taking radiographs, we want to make sure, in addition to having our craniocaudal borders for collimation, we also have a landmark for the center of the beam. For a craniocaudal radius ulna view, that center beam would be over the midshaft of the bone you are radiographing. You also want to make sure that you get the joints proximal and distal as well. For a VD thorax view, you want that center beam centered over the midline at the level of the scapulas. And for VD pelvis, that center line is going to be at the level of the ischial tuberosities.